Hello, all. Welcome back to the Best Self Therapy YouTube channel, your home for tips and tricks on how to live a better life as your best self, regardless of what kind of life transition you're navigating. We cover things anywhere from grief to divorce to being empty nesters, anxiety, depression. Whatever it is, these tools that we cover are going to be applicable in multiple different situations. So, this month, I've talked a lot about the nervous system and regulating the nervous system with clients of mine. So, I thought it might be useful to talk about it here and bring it here to you. So, I'm going to briefly just touch on what the nervous system is and what happens and what it means when it's dysregulated. But I really want to focus on a really good tool to help you bring that nervous system down so then you can begin to move forward and function. So, let's quickly talk about what the nervous system is and what happens when it gets escalated. So I won't dive too terribly much into the education around the nervous system. If you do want further, more in-depth information, you can check out the blog linked below. But just quickly, a brief overview. So our nervous system is made up of our brain, spinal cord, and our nerves, and it is there to send messages between the brain and the rest of our body. When our nervous system is activated from a perceived threat in our environment, so that could be an actual threat, so there's a bear about 10 feet away from me coming at me, my nervous system is activated. Or it could be a flashback, a trauma flashback, a memory, an attachment wound has been opened. My nervous system has been activated. So your nervous system activates from a perceived threat in your environment, whether there is a threat or not. When that happens, our nervous system responds in one of three ways: fight, flight, or freeze. You may have heard of these terms. So what we want to do is first understand what makes our nervous system activate, right? If there is an actual perceived threat in the environment, then yeah, that's pretty clear. There's a bear over there. Makes sense as to why my nervous system is activated. When it's a little bit more of the emotional and mental side of things, it can be pretty hard to figure out, one, if my nervous system is activated, two, what activated it, and then three, which we're really going to talk about today, is how do I bring it back down once it's been activated? How do I regulate to help me better move forward? So, what I want you to first do before we jump into one of the best skills you can use to regulate the nervous system, I want you to first think about, how does it feel when your nervous system is activated? Typically, people will feel tightness in chest, heart palpitations. They might get a sense to just run, right? So listen to that. How does your body respond? Do you run, flee, fight, or freeze? Figure out how your body responds, and then we'll dive into, when you're ready, start the video again, and we'll dive into one of the best tools you can use to help regulate your nervous system. Okay, hopefully you've taken a little bit of time to figure out what activates the nervous system, what dysregulates it, what triggers it, and then when it is triggered or activated, how do you typically respond? Fight, flight, or freeze, and how does that response manifest? What are we seeing? What are you experiencing in your body? It's important to know that, again, because then we'll know when we want to implement this tool that we're going to talk about. If you need a little bit more guidance on figuring out what triggers it and how it shows up in your body, feel free to email me. My email is below, or you can DM me, message me on Instagram. I'd love to connect with you. We can talk about a free consultation, anything like that. So when the nervous system is activated, we want to go to bilateral stimulation. This is activating both sides, both parts of the brain, and research has shown that this really helps to regulate, calm that nervous system. This comes from EMDR, eye movement. So research has shown that eye movement or tapping, which we're going to do today, are two of the best ways that you can engage in bilateral stimulation and really activate both sides of the brain to regulate that nervous system. If you want to do eye movement, that's a little bit harder to do on your own. So that might be something that you ask your therapist about if you're working with one, to just follow your eyes to the movement of the finger or a hand. But when you're on your own, tapping is very accessible. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of tapping bilateral stimulation exercises so you can start implementing them when needed. Okay, the first bilateral tapping that we're gonna do is called the butterfly tapping. So you're gonna link your thumbs, and then you're gonna gently set them on your chest shoulder area, and then you're just gonna tap from side to side. And you wanna make sure that it's strong enough to where you can feel the pressure or the weight of your hand tapping on your chest, but you obviously don't want it too strong to where it's gonna hurt you or possibly trigger any other things. You wanna go fast enough to where it is going to activate either side of the brain, but you don't wanna go too fast where it's gonna freak you out. So you might play around a little bit with speed. Find what feels comfortable. And when you're there, go ahead and close your eyes. And then I want you to take 3 deep breaths. Breathing from the diaphragm, breathe in. Out the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. Last one, breathe in. That is the butterfly tapping that you can use if your nervous system has been escalated. Do that for as long as feels comfortable. Do it in a safe space. Tap again as fast as feels comfortable and make sure it is strong enough that you feel the pressure. Let's go into our second exercise. A different angle here to show you our next tapping exercise. You're just going to tap on your knees. So you're going to gently place both hands on either knee. You can have them a little bit further down if you want, or you can have them further up the thighs, whatever feels comfortable for you. And the same thing, you're just going to tap from left to right at a speed that feels comfortable, but also is fast enough to activate both sides of the brain. You want it firm enough that you can feel the tapping, but not too firm to where it's actually making you uncomfortable. And the same thing, you're gonna take 3 deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Okay, what did we think? How did we feel about the butterfly tapping and the tapping of the knees, or just the bilateral stimulation in general? Play around with this a little bit. Play around with the butterfly tapping and the knee tapping. You may find that you like one or more over the other, or you like them both. It just depends on what you need that day. Play around with the speed, as I said. Play around with the pressure, making sure it's enough that you actually feel the impact of the tapping, but not too much to where it's causing any harm or dysregulating the nervous system even more. There are a couple of different things that you can add to this to heighten on the effect of the bilateral stimulation. So oftentimes, at least for when I'm with clients, where you are in your current moment, you are okay. There is no actual threat. I will speak when clients are with me because I don't know your environment. I don't know where you are right now, but hopefully you are in a safe environment. If not, please reach out and we will get you help. When clients are with me in my office, there is no actual threat in their environment despite their nervous system being activated. So what we want to do is listen to what is the narrative. Oftentimes it's I'm not safe, or it's not okay, or I need to run, whatever it is. So what I will have clients do is when they're doing the tapping and the breathing, I will also have them recite an affirmation that will also help them regulate that nervous system, right? So saying something of I am okay, I am safe, I am protected. Whatever affirmation or mantra you want to recite while tapping, that can also be effective. When we do the bilateral stimulation and that nervous system regulates and comes down, it will then send a signal to the brain that says, I am actually safe, I am actually okay, which is then going to allow you to move forward and navigate in a way that you need to. So try this out, play around with it, see what feels good. Couple of steps. One, first recognize how does my dysregulated or activated nervous system show up in my body? How do I feel that? And also what might trigger it? And then do this stimulation, bilateral stimulation, see how it feels, play around with it, and then take note of how your body feels once the tapping has been completed. If you have any questions, please let me know. My email and contact information is below. Be sure to subscribe to the Best Self Therapy YouTube channel if you have not, so you don't miss any other information and content coming your way. Thank you for taking the time to put this incredibly important tool and useful tool in your toolbox, and I will see you next month. Get out there and live a better life as your best self. Take care.